These are my 5 things to avoid and mistakes that might happen when you start 3D printing as a business. The last one might surprise you, so stick around for that. In fact, I'm going to tell you the last one right now. There's no point sticking to the end. I'll give you the good stuff right now. And that is, once you start using your 3D printer to print things for other people to make a bit of money, you then lose the ability to use your 3D printer to print cool things for yourself. So you can no longer make lenses from Gears of War. Just, if you like the content, give it a little like. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. Either way, just give it a little subscribe button, a little boop. Just a little boop. I'd much appreciate it. Let's get on with point A. 5. 1. Issue 1. Postage and packaging is very important. Remember that it doesn't take long before you start running out of packages that you've already been saving, you know, from Amazon deliveries and things like that. Before you know it, you've run out of these. So it's a good idea to start thinking about them. The other thing is the dimensions of the box and the dimensions of the print. If the print requires it to be a certain size, there's not much you can do. But if it's your own design, you can kind of shrink it so it fits into a more standardized postage thing, or it brings it into a smaller, or it brings the scale down so then it fits into better categories for shipping. That might be something to consider. The other thing is to think about what size packaging actually comes in, and then also think about bubble wrap or anything you're going to use to pad it out to make sure that it doesn't get damaged in transit, because some of my things have gone to Norway, yes way, Norway, and States and other parts of Europe. So that's something to consider. And the other thing is the pricing of that. Think about the actual cost to deliver. You know, put that onto the actual price, or have it as a separate thing. So when someone buys your product, they still have to pay postage and packaging. We're not all Amazon. We're not all able to do free postage and packaging. Most people appreciate that, and they'll pay for postage and packaging if they really want your product. Did I say that fast enough? I think I did. This one is accepting PayPal. I actually overlooked this, didn't even think people use PayPal anymore. Since when I sell things on eBay now, PayPal's not even a thing. You just do your transaction and away you go. Straight away, as soon as a few people wanted to buy my product, it was, do you accept PayPal? And I realized that I no longer have a PayPal account, or I do and I can't remember the password. I couldn't recover it. It was a pain, so I had to set up another PayPal account, and then I set that up as a business account, which you should probably set it up as a business account. You have to verify it, and it's a lot more complicated. So that's kind of an important thing to think about. I think PayPal, or just accepting payment in any way, shape or form you want. I mean, you can do bank transfer if you prefer. That way then there's no fees involved. I think PayPal take a little bit. I can't remember how much they take, but they take a little percentage, and CardSafe and people like that take a little percentage as well. But yes, PayPal, I would say, if you're selling through social media platforms, people feel safe. If there's any issues, they can just request a refund, and everybody finds it easier. It's harsh on you if they do that, so I would always recommend going back to postage and packaging, send everything recorded. It's just easier. You can keep track on it, and you know whether the package has got there or not. Okay, cute. The other thing is think about all obstacles in the way to actually purchase your product and for them to pay for your product. So this kind of ties into the PayPal thing a little bit. And that is, when I started selling, when I put mine up, I didn't actually think I would sell anything straight away, if I was honest. But straight away, there's a lot of inquiries. And some of them people then didn't go on to the next step. And I think that was because I wasn't prepared and I lost that kind of impulse purchase. So there was a few sales that I would have picked up, maybe another 3 or 4 sales from day one that I would have picked up just from having a smoother transition of being like, oh, I want one of them, and being like, if I had my PayPal, I could have gone, cool, send me your details, I'll take payment and send it straight to you. Or it could have been that I had my website set up sooner with the product on there, and people could just click on that, purchase straight through there, and choose the option for delivery. Again, ties into delivery a little bit. If you do want to ship overseas, just remember that you've got taxes to pay, so kind of factor that in a little bit when you're actually doing it. But if you kind of prepare all these things straight away, you're not going to trip yourself up or find things hassle or think, oh God, I'm losing money sending this out now because I offered free shipping and I've now got to pay the tax rate of whether it's like 15, 20% or whatever it is for that area. If you can pull away all the friction for the customer, you'll sell more, I think, because people will trust you, it'll look professional, and you can just ship it straight out. Or like I say, if it's through social media, people can just give you the PayPal details, or you give them your PayPal details, set up a little receipt thing, you take the payment, you've got their address, you ship it straight out. It's nice and simple for people, and I think that's kind of what you need to think about, how easy it is for someone to buy your product, I think. And the next thing to think about is filament. Yes, I just use PLA, and I just think all PLA is the same, so whatever's the cheapest is pretty much what I'm going to buy. Unless I have a bad batch, then I probably would log that and never buy it again, but I haven't had that once. I think the only thing I've had once is when it's wrapped wrong and it gets tangled, and yeah, which that's a different thing. That's not the same as printing. But yes, PLA, for me, it's not a major issue, isn't this? I can get Amazon delivered the same day if I order before a certain time, or the next day, like all the time. So that's not a big thing. I suppose if you have a shop nearby that sells it, that might not be an issue. But I'm guessing if you live somewhere where you don't have Amazon same day delivery, next day delivery, and you don't have a shop nearby that you could go by, then you definitely want to make sure you've got enough Filament to fulfillment your orders. See what I did there? Play on words. I never follow this rule because, like I say, I'm running low. I did same day delivery yesterday. It arrived yesterday, and everything's good. So we're okay. But you might not have that. You might not have that luxury. So just bear that in mind. Now we're heading into the territory of the unknown. The thing to remember is the unknown. What is the unknown? We do not know. So the last tip, maybe point D, C, 1, 5. I don't know how many points I'm up to now, but I'm sure I will once I get to editing. So the last thing to remember is the unknown. We don't know what will happen. So that is, the printer's selling good, we buy more printers, everything's selling good, we buy more printers, we spend all those profits on buying more printers. So now we've got like maybe 10 printers. I'm kind of exaggerating. I still have technically one working printer, one printer I don't use, and one printer that I have absolutely annihilated. That's because it's getting turned into a CNC machine. Now, if your end goal is to just have more printers, then there's nothing wrong with this. But if you're kind of thinking, I want to grow a business and then want to see how much money I make from this, you might want to keep a track on sales in terms of, because what might happen is sales might just stop on that line, or someone else sees what you're doing and they copy you, and then they take all your sales, and then you start fighting on price, and it's a race to the bottom, and everybody loses. It's terrible. So you spend all your money on printers, and you don't really know what your business will be like in 12 months' time. So always kind of think about that with your finances and budgets and things like that. For instance, I had the money to buy another P1S, and what happened? My alternator died in my van. Now the alternator for my van is £450 just for the part, and then the labour, because everybody wanted to take the vehicle to bits to do it, and the labour, I think it was about £900 to £1,200 quotation I got for changing my alternator on my car. Well, me being me, I thought, do you know what? Sod it, it's to swap out a part. How hard's that going to be? So I did it myself. I saved myself an absolute fortune, but it meant that I no longer have the money to buy another P1S. These are the unknown. These are just things we do not know. So rather than risking your life savings, selling the house to buy loads of printers, just take a step back and realise, I've got a good thing. Maybe I should get another printer, but not another 10. Or maybe I should just get 2 more printers. And if you were kind of thinking, I'll get an X1C, but then you could go, oh, let's just get 2 P1Ss instead of an X1C. I'm talking about bamboo still. I still like bamboo. Even after all the controversy, I still like bamboo. So in conclusion, I think best thing to do is, rather than running head first, I don't know what the saying is anymore. I'm sure someone can tell me the saying in the comments. Take a moment, test the market first. Don't go out and buy loads of 3D printers. Don't go out and buy loads of filament. Just decide find out what's going to work first, and then you can kind of move forward from there. And the other thing is, you don't really have to stockpile your prints, because as long as you manage customers' expectations and tell them it's 2 to 3 days for it to be manufactured, and then it's another 2 days for delivery, so it's like a week, or maybe it's 5 to 7 business days. Maybe it even takes you 5 days to do your print, depending on what you're actually selling, and maybe then you've got a lot of prep and finish work, so that adds another 3 days. These are all things, as long as you tell the customer and you keep the customer updated and informed, then they're going to be fine. They're going to be happy. I think the thing is, when you don't tell your customer these things and they buy it and then it doesn't arrive the next day, and then they think, well, let's give it another day, and then it doesn't arrive the next day, and then they start complaining. I think as long as you're transparent with everything that goes on in the process, how long it takes for them to get it on average, then your customer's going to be happy, and that's the main thing. So from that, you don't have to then put stress and strain on yourself. You can say, it's going to be 5 days before it's ready. I'll let you know when it's dispatched. Then you let them know it's dispatched. You give them the tracking. Everybody's happy. That's always the thing. Just keep the customer happy. You'll sleep better at night. You won't be stressing out. And then it doesn't matter if you have failed prints, because you've already kind of give yourself a little bit of time in your actual print. Then if it does fail, you can just print another one, send it off. Customer's aware. Everything's cool. Everyone's happy. That's the thing to remember. Keep the customer happy. Then your life is easier. And also, like I said, test the market. You don't want to spend a fortune on printers. You don't want to spend a fortune on filament, and then go from there. But I only use one printer, and that is fine for me. Do I want more printers? Yes, I would ideally like about 20 to 30 printers. Why? Because I'd like to sit and do a project and go, right, I'm printing all these parts at once. Because some of the stuff I do is quite big, and it means that then I have to print it in pieces, and it takes days and days, sometimes weeks to finish. And then I'm just like, if I had 20 printers, I could print all this in one go, push it all together, and then my life will be so much easier. But the fact is, what's 20 P1Ss if they're about £500, $600? So what you got? To 6,000, 12,000? Is that right? 10 600s? 20, 12,000? I'll check the maths before we post. Yeah, these are the things to think about. And if you think about all these things, avoid making the mistakes of not having filament to print the product, not having packaging to post the product out, not having a way of taking payment, whether that's PayPal or anything else. So remembering that you no longer have your printer once it's printing for other people. And then if you remember one of the other points that I can't remember anymore, because I only kind of did 5 and I thought they were kind of crucial. As long as you remember all these little things, you just avoid making mistakes. It keeps your life easier and the customer's happy. And then with that, then you've kind of got a customer the next time you bring another product out and they might be interested in it. As I said before, somewhere I have a gun. It's on the floor. So as I said before, if you liked what you saw, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Tell me what I can do better in the comments. And as always, hit the subscribe button. Just give it a little boop. See you later.